We've been divided by an ocean, kept 100 things in motion, said you barely recognize me. Why did I do that? I did that because, and I can sing better than that, trust me, but I want what other podcasters have when it comes to, they have a song that plays in the beginning and it's nice, it's a good way to intro it. Me, all I have is my voice, so I think that's gonna be the thing. I'll just sing songs, and I guess through that way I can avoid like copyright shit. I don't even know. I haven't even taken the time to look up that information. I'm just doing this because I want to start. And I'm feeling a little amped up right now because I'm excited. I'm also a little nervous, which, you know, when you feel nervous, that's also kind of there's a similarity there in how you feel, nerves and being amped up and excited. It's all sort of in the same wheelhouse of emotion a little bit. And welcome to Box of Chocolates. That's the name of it. That's what we're going to go with. Because like Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You never know when you're going to get with this podcast. You never know how long. There's really nothing that's concrete about it. And the reason I say that is because I don't want to force anything. I plan on doing this by my fucking self because although I'm putting this out there to be heard, it does feel very personal. And I am going to talk about personal shit. I've written down some topics. I'll have things to discuss. I can already tell you right now, like I'm probably going to talk about my mom, share some stories about some of the shit that she's done, some of the shit that I've done, some of the shit I've, separate from that topic. I mean, just anything. Sports, politics, fuck you. That's like the cusp of what I'm doing here is fuck you, which is weird because I want people to listen. But also it's like people need to know these things. And by these things, I mean they need to know what I have to say. Part of me is arrogant enough to believe that you need to hear what I have to say. Because when I'm on social media, and that's not the reason for me doing this. The reason for me doing this is so I can get my thoughts out there. And I wish I had a producer right now. The reason for me doing this is because I want to put it out there. But when I'm on social media and online, and I mean, just some of you people are just, am I going to do this? Do I have a public image now? A public image, even though nobody's listening? I don't. Some of you people are just lost. We'll say lost. That's the word. Lost, confused, not smart. And also this podcast is going to be uninformed. I don't read that much. I read some shit. I read some things. I don't read everything. But I think part of this is like my gut. And from the little that I do read, I know more than you, most likely. And even if I don't, who knows? Maybe I'll just be stupid and not back down. Or maybe I'll grow and decide I'm wrong. So really, this is me versus like everybody. I have like a weird adversarial type of situation going on in my head. But you have to start this podcast. I have to start. I've had this gear for like a week or so. It's taken me a little bit of time to like fuck with the audio, fuck with like the video editing, cutting. I had to buy this application to where I can like edit the video properly. with sound and chop it up and put it together and make it one nice product that I can present to the internet. I still haven't decided on like a banner. I think I'm just going to do like box of chocolates in the top and then like episode 1 on the corner. And I love this camera that I have right now because I can see what I'm doing. So I can see what corner I'm pointing to. So I learned how to make a thumbnail like probably fucking 15 years behind any of my peers. I'm 28 now. Feel like I'm not as advanced as I should be with technology. I mean, just doing this shit was a struggle for a week. But I learned YouTube is the king when it comes to that shit. It'll teach you how to do anything. Any question you have will be answered. And I wanted to really talk about forcing topics, which I don't want to do. Know that if I'm saying it, I'm not trying to force it. I'm just talking to myself. I don't have somebody sitting across the desk from me who I have to try to make conversation with. So if I'm saying it, I mean it. It is what it is. And I'm going to be honest with you right now. I heard lawnmowers in the background and shit. I'm not even sure I know how to cut that shit out of the video yet properly. I watched the video on how to separate background noise from the audio that's going into the mic. But I fucked it up, honestly. Like, it doesn't really cut it out completely, this video that I watched. What it does is it lowers the audio of the background noise somehow. Like noise reduction, I think it's called, through this application called Audacity, which is pretty good. I'm sure there's a way to do it right. I just don't have the know-how. But going back to what I was saying was, if I'm saying it here, it's because it's something that I want to talk about. So nobody watched this, like he's forcing it. If I'm saying it, it's because I mean it. I just saw my audio spike insane. I don't know if I'm too close, too far from the mic. They say a fist distance from the mic, so that's what I'm trying to do. And it's pretty weird because this is like take number 3, to be honest with you. But even if this shit crashes and burns at the end, I don't know how I'm going to end this. I might just be like, all right, that's it. Stop. I recorded 2 sessions before where I think I was trying too hard to have a format. And it kind of bit me in the ass because it was like, well, once you run out of this stringent topic, then what do you have? You got nothing. So I watched a little bit of Chris D'Elia. For those of you who are not listening, because nobody is, he's a pretty famous comedian. And just kind of watched him for a second, and I thought, you know what? Like, that guy is not trying that hard. And neither should I. There's been something that's been on my mind for a little bit. And I'm never going to say any names in this podcast. And I want to try to get beyond like attacking people, even though I probably will attack people. But I saw this post on Facebook because I'm old and I'm on Facebook and I'm not on Twitter. Not really. I just like shit from the darkness and not post anything or just retweet shit that I think is funny. I just stalk comedians all day on social media. That's really all I do. Listen to their podcasts, watch their social media. Hope that maybe one day I'm brave enough to get on stage, even though I have no material. I saw this post on Facebook where this individual said, now that the presidency has been decided, they said he, she, they, it was a he. Oh, now that, so-and-so's in office, and I'm apolitical. Let's just get that out there. Right now, I don't care. I've never voted. I was going to vote for Obama the second time, but I kind of just knew he was going to win, so I didn't. I was too young to vote for him the first time. I was going to vote for him because He's a minority. And I thought that was really cool. And I just wanted to see that happen. I'm just being honest, which is really what a lot of you people need to do. Is just be honest. Be honest. Just say you don't know the policies. Just say it. I don't know them. I don't know them. And I know you don't know them. And by you, I guess I'm talking to like half the people who vote. You don't know anything. I just see a post in support of any politician. It's like, oh, abortion. They hate it. They love it. Or, you know, just swinging woo, 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 woo. Depending on who's like talking about what. It's like, yeah, you know, like, oh, fucking this fucking senator from whatever state, like, oh, he's so against it or he's so for it, so I love him or I hate him. Have you even read anything? Have you even read anything? Everybody pretends that they know so much. It's like, it's disgusting. Everybody pretends that they know so fucking much. And it's just like, it's okay to not know the answer. Just say you don't know. Like, there's such a negative stigma around, well, if I say I don't know, I'm going to seem retarded. Like, you don't know what you don't know. One of my bosses said that to me one time, and it was just, it's something that's so obvious, but it needs to be reinforced. You don't know what you don't know. And it's okay not to give your input onto something. Like right now, I don't know anything. So that, guess what? I'm pretty apolitical. I don't know where anybody stands. I haven't read any bills. You read a bill? You read a bill. You're lying. Most of you are lying if you say that you've thoroughly reviewed the legislation that's coming to pass. Nobody knows anything. But people just want to vote. Just vote. Vote. Vote for what? Just do it? I see a lot of like campaigns like, oh, you should just vote. And I'm not saying people shouldn't vote. I'm not saying that. I think you should vote. I think you should exercise your right as an American to vote in this country. I think it's a healthy thing we have the voting system, even though it's flawed. I don't do it because I don't believe in the system. I don't believe in it. I read some shit. Again, like I read some shit. Like Bill Burr says, I overheard it in a bar. Read some shit a couple times. Like Wyoming has 3 times the voting power of California. I mean, obviously California has a lot more electorals, but per electoral vote per like the population, it doesn't add up. Voting power, Wyoming has more of it because they have like 500,000 people and they have like 3-4 electorals or something like that. It might not even be Wyoming. This is a half-informed podcast. Half informed, half right, half not. Also, I'm not looking for feedback. I'm not. How about this? Respond to those of you out there who's not listening. Respond. Imaginary person that I'm talking to. Respond. And I'll absorb that knowledge. But it's never really probably going to be a back and forth thing. Just go ahead and put your 2 cents out there and I'll see it. Because at this point, if anybody's going to comment, it's just going to be one person. I'll see it. I'll absorb that knowledge. Or I'll probably just be like, no, you still don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, I don't believe in the political system because I mean, I think they update the electorals like every 10 years or some shit. I honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure if I care if I'm right or wrong, but I'm pretty sure I am correct. I think they update it with the census is what I heard. But how can that be true if Wyoming has an imbalance of electoral voting power? It just doesn't make sense. And isn't it a system based on the 3/5 compromise? Excuse me. Where, a black person was like 3/5 a person, and that's how they like divvied out the votes or something like that. Like, I don't know. The whole thing is just fucked up. A lot of people just want to take part in it just because. I don't even know why, honestly. Why? I mean, I guess it makes you feel like you did something. You didn't. But if that's how it makes you feel. Really, all I ask is that you read some articles. Read articles top to bottom. Read Fox. Read CNN. Try to find the middle ground between the two. And then, then come to some sort of opinion on how you feel, I guess. And, vote based off that for sure. I don't mind minority military people voting Republican because, that's more money in their pocket. You vote for whoever you feel has your best interest in mind. I also don't mind people voting Democrat because, they feel it's like that's the moral thing to do. It's moral to vote Democrat. Like, all right, I guess. Again, has anybody read anything? Of the people that I know, not really anybody's reading anything. Because it's just like you just talk about somebody's tweets or whatever. Like, that's your info. Like, that's your knowledge base. Well, he fucking tweeted this shit. She tweeted this. Saw this edited clip on the internet. Not me. I'm just saying the imaginary person that I'm talking shit about. Oh, I saw this clip on the internet. And, now that's pretty much swayed me and I'm unswayable. Most people are unswayable to begin with. If you look at whatever numbers. Anyways, I lost the point of what I was saying. One of my Facebook acquaintances said, now that this country has had a shift in power, you don't know how relieved I feel. Every day my family's in danger. Oh, every day your family's in danger? You fear for their lives every day? How so? How so? I don't know this person's life inside and out, but something tells me their lives are not really at risk. Let's just trust me on that. That might be the theme of this podcast. Just trust me on that. Most likely, your life is going to be untouched by what's going on. I mean, if you're just some dusty ass dude in overalls on a bench in Montana, you're out of it. You're out of it. People in the city, you're out of it. You're still out of it. Like I said, go vote though. If it makes you feel any better. And honestly, now I'm just talking. Right. I kind of do want to get back on the starting out topic though. Because that's what I'm doing with this episode. And honestly, I'm going way longer than I thought. Like I said, before I had 2 failed attempts at this shit. I was trying to force it. It was awkward. Now I'm just over it. Now I'm over the fear. Which I kind of knew I would get over pretty quickly because I want to do this more than I'm worried about humiliating myself. And that is where the rubber meets the fucking road. I'm willing to stand up and talk. Not really stand up and talk, but I'm willing to fucking sit here and put myself on the internet at risk of looking like an asshole just so I can speak my mind. But starting out though, life will try to pull you in many directions. Now we've reached the point of the podcast where I'm wise. I guess I've been pretending to. I have a community college of the Air Force degree. I mean, that's like as fake as it gets. It's better than nothing. I mean, I guess it's an associate's degree. Not I guess, it is. And it is better than nothing. And I'll eventually get my bachelor's when I'm 40. I'm 28 right now. I don't even know where I was going with this. But you have to start out. Life will pull you in many directions. That's where I was. I remember my mom when I was a kid would be like, oh, become an accountant or a cop or a nurse. Cop, respect them. Respect them because I don't want to do it. Same with nurse, accountant. That's just imaginary shit. I mean, who does that? Oh, I'm an accountant. Oh, my cousin's an accountant. You're going to tell me he's not an accountant? Shut up. Obviously, I know there's accountants, but also nobody's an accountant. So can we stop? This video is not safe for kids. I'm dropping F-bombs. That's how I talk. But a cop, dude, I have friends that are cops. I'm not wrestling with druggies. I'm not getting stabbed by a needle. I'm not getting hepatitis, AIDS. I'm not going to get bit by anybody. And they deserve raises for dealing with that shit. Because that's crazy. I'm not going to do it. But also they need to, let's the trigger happy ones, stop. Nurse, I don't like dealing with bodily fluids that aren't my own. Or my girlfriend or something. Those are the only two bodily fluids I'm dealing with. Nobody else's bodily fluids I'm doing anything with. Bodily stenches. Ooh. Bodily anything that's not me or my woman's. I mean, just the stories. My mom is a nurse. And just the stories about I walked in the room and this is not my mom who's saying this. Just random nurses across the internet use Google, use Twitter, Facebook, whatever platform you so desire. They just talk about the stenches when you walk in the room. And I mean, that alone is what? I'm going to subject myself to those stenches? And I understand why my mom would suggest me to be a cop or a nurse. She's all about security. And I have a secure job now. I get paid faithfully. Life is pretty good. Whatever. Could be better. But the point of what I'm saying is that when I was a kid, I never knew what I wanted to do. I know now what I want to do. When I get my bachelor's in 60 years, I want to work at a zoo. When I get my master's, never. I want to work at a zoo. But you don't really use your imagination all that much when you come from a family like I did. I'm not saying that there was no room for imagination. I certainly had freedom. But my parents weren't exactly of the arts. My mom worked on an assembly line. Honorable job. Now she has a career that she likes more. She's never badmouthed the auto assembly line job. I respect that shit. Put food on the table, clothes on my back. We need people to do it. Also, the auto industry is dying. So I hear. So I've overheard in a bar. But you don't really know what you're going to end up doing. I never thought that I would be trying to start a podcast one day. You just never know what the thing is going to be. And by starting this, I feel like I've finally tapped into something that's a little creative, I guess you could say, because it's my thoughts. I was watching the movie called Parasite. It's about this fucking Korean family who the family is parasitic to a higher class Korean family. It's a poor Korean family and they're basically leeching off the lifeblood of a higher status Korean family. That's hence the term parasite, right? What the hell was I going to say? Oh, and the director, he won the Oscar for Best Picture or something like that. And he said, it wasn't his quote, I think it was Martin Scorsese, the most individual is the most creative. And that's just amazing. I mean, this is as creative as it gets. My own thoughts from me, pretty much unbound, untethered to any other. I mean, it's just me in here right now. Me and my dog in the corner. Like, I don't really have anybody. At this point, I'm thinking for myself. And it took a long time for me to get there. You grow up, and I'll speak for myself, but I know a lot of other people in this situation. You kind of are raised with your parents' ideology. I mean, even now, me and my mom share so many beliefs. Like, when we talk, we agree, like, yup. Like, my mom talks a lot of shit too. My mom talks a lot of shit. I talk a lot of shit. And it's like, yup. Like, we agree on so many things. And that's us agreeing when we're talking shit about somebody. She'll say something about someone. I'll say something about someone. And we'll both be like, yup. So I shared a lot of her thought process, and I still do. But there's shackles in that. Like, you're shackled by the thoughts of your family in a way. And it even took like a few years. I didn't feel like I started becoming my own person for real till I turned like 23. And so I guess from 23 until now, 5 years is when I've really like became like for real my own person. And so I guess right now I just feel thankful for some reason. I feel thankful that I've gotten here. I feel thankful that I'm able to just sit here and just bullshit on camera. And I don't know. I've been going for 27 minutes now. Originally, I was just going to do like a 5-minute episode. I honestly do feel like in some way listening to all these other podcasts has prepared me for this moment, because that's literally all I do for like most of the day. I listen to podcasts more than I like play video games. I mean, it's just easy to do, right? I mean, you just put something on and you just listen for 3 hours. Joe Rogan does 3-hour podcasts. Tim Dillon does 1-hour rants about bombing Disney World. And so I'm shocked and I'm not shocked, because at a certain point of this, I started getting a little emotional about the political thing. Fuck you, you don't know anything. I believe that most of the time. They asked me when, because I had to get a Florida driver's license, and they were saying that whatever political party you register for, that's who you have to vote for. Like in the primaries, the general is the one where you vote for the president. I barely know what I'm talking about. And I was just right there. I was just like, fuck you. Like, that should never be the case. Why is it like that? Why can't I register as fucking Tea Party and then vote Democrat or Republican? But when it comes to the big one, you can be Tea Party and vote for whoever you want. I mean, people were voting for Kanye. I mean, what the hell was Kanye running under? I have friends that actually believe in Kanye West, by the way. Like, he tricks people. I don't know how. I'm not going to say I don't know how, because I've been in situations where I like look up to somebody, and then I look to the person on my left. I'm like, don't you get it? Don't you get it? Like, this guy's speaking facts or whatever. Like, this guy's, don't you get it? I understand that. The don't you get it philosophy, I get it. But also, there's just a fucking line. And that's also what this podcast is about. When people cross lines, you cross the line. Person that said you feel like your family's in danger every day. How much money? I can guess how much money they bring in a year. It's got to be, we'll just say like 150K. That's pretty good compared to what a lot of people are going through. Are you hungry? Are you being attacked every day? How are you fighting for your life? This is me going back to something I'm pretty sure I talked about like 10 minutes ago. But I mean, these things just have to be hammered home. You have to hammer this shit home. Like, don't you get it? You're dramatic. You're dramatic. And I might be dramatic right now, but I don't, maybe, who cares? Nobody's listening. I get to say what I want. And I always will. Whoop! Just did that. Whoop! Just did it again. I haven't even really started on this coffee either. Like, this thing is fucking full. Like, if I were to have this whole thing inside of me, I would be shaking right now. I'd be fucking woo on this table. I love seeing the audio spike. I'm not even gonna lie. I love seeing the audio spike. I used to drink a lot. That's what I just was weirdly reminded of right now. Like getting crazy. Getting crazy reminds me of when I used to drink too much. I drank too much. And now I'm at the point of like, do I keep going? Or do I stop now and save it for another episode? Because right now I'm just in a talking mood. I can't believe I've talked this much so far. But yeah, coffee makes me crazy. That's why I don't really want to buy pre-workout anymore. Because I already drink coffee. So it's like, I mean, I'm a Hispanic male, right? Probably not going to live that long. Although I've outlived what I thought I was going to live. I remember I used to tell my mom when I was a kid, were you like, I used to play baseball when I was a little kid. I used to be like, oh, when I die, will you keep like my mitt as like a token of remembrance? My mom was like, when you die? Like, you're 7. What do you mean when you die? My mom is probably going to outlive me, by the way. That's what happens when, you're close in age to your mother. She's a woman. I'm a male. They live longer. But yeah, I've outlived what I thought I was gonna make. I honestly swear to God thought I wouldn't make it past 23. Based off of nothing. I think like a lot of people, I kind of went through like a WebMD phase where I thought like every little blotch on me was like cancer. Anytime I felt any type of pain in my chest, I thought it was a fucking heart attack. Probably wasn't. I never slept. I used to never sleep. And when you don't sleep, this is according to half-ass Google research, you have inflammation in your chest, which causes tightness. So you have to sleep. 6-year-old me did not know this. 6, 7, 8-year-old, 9, all the way up until 23. I never slept. But yeah, if you don't sleep, it causes inflammation in your chest. It causes tightness, which will feel like a heart attack, even though it's not. And that was from drinking too much Pepsi. Pepsi's not the enemy here. I love Pepsi. Also, Pepsi, I only have 1 can a year because it's delicious and I don't want to do that to myself anymore. But I used to take like a 16 like cans. Work with me here. Cans. I'm going to visualize this together. I talk with my hands. Cans. 12 pack or whatever. I used to go to the corner store, grab a 12 pack, bring it back to my room, which was in the basement. I used to chug the 12 pack every night. Every night I would kill a 12 pack of Pepsi. It felt like every night. And if it wasn't a 12 pack of Pepsi, then it was a 2 liter of Pepsi. So I don't know. Maybe that's pretty close in quantity, in volume. And then I remember I don't know what class I was in. It wasn't even health class. I was like a sophomore or something in high school, not college. I have a associate's. Can't really be a sophomore. You have an associate's. Anyways, I was in like this class, and it was like a guest teacher, and the guest teacher was doing like a health class session. Like, oh, we need to tell these kids about STDs, tell these kids about gonorrhea, chlamydia, whatever else. And I hate that shit. There is nothing more I hate than looking at pictures of rotted up vaginas and penises. If your vagina and penis is rotted up, ooh, it does something to me. Not in a good way. I'm scared of you. I'm scared of it. Your junk, I'm scared of it. Another reason, big reason why I can't be in the medical field. Fuck all that. But we were looking at slideshows of fucking dicks that look like the head of the dick looked like a fucking fungal mushroom that you find in a forest that's just nasty as fuck. Blue waffle type shit, right? For the penis and vagina. And I'm like getting dizzy. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I know I hate this shit, but like, I hate it to the point where I'm getting dizzy. And I don't know what happens, but she just keeps going, and all I hear is like gonorrhea, penis, dick, STDs, fungus, and bacterial. And I'm like, whoa, like all of it, I'm getting for real woozy. And so like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm like, you know how you can kind of make your vision blurry if you kind of like press your eyes in a weird way. So like my vision starts getting blurry. I don't even know if I'm really aware of it though yet. And my friend turns around, and I'm just sitting there in my chair, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And what a weird question to ask somebody. She looked genuinely concerned. Like, "Are you all right?" I was like, yeah. So I stood up, awkward as shit, in front of the whole class. Like I just stood up, and then I was just like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like I was just like, I need to get out of here in a weird way or something. And so all of a sudden, like, things are blurry. Like I swing my head, just to look. I'm moving around, and then, but it's like the images are like lagging. Like it's like a delayed blurry effect. I've never experienced anything like it since. Just the one time. And so I get up, and right when I'm about to exit the classroom, my vision goes dark. Like I can't see shit. And I hit the fucking wall. I walked into the wall, and I remember this guy got me so good. Some dude in class, like, he has an STD. And I think they got a lot of laughs. So I was like, all right. Okay. At this point, I'm so out of it. But you got me. Whoever you are. I don't remember who you were, but you got me. And then they sat me down. Okay, anyways, long story short, we go to the doctor, and doctor says, "What's your diet like?" And I'm like, "I drink 30 Pepsis a night." She's like, "Okay." Blood test me. I had the vitamin D levels of like an 80-year-old man, she said. I was like 16. I had the vitamin D of a fucking 80-year-old man. Caffeine inhibits, this is me pinching something, inhibiting it, your body's ability to like accept vitamin D. So just if you drink a lot of caffeine, know that you have a shield against vitamin D on your body. You get most of it from the sun, I think I've read. And I mean, you just can't take any of it in when you're fucking all jacked up on caffeine. And since then, I would drink 1 can of Pepsi a year. That was like when I'm really like feeling free in life. Other than that, couldn't do it. Back to the STD thing. My friend was like a medical technician, which I guess is like, you know, like I guess a nurse's assistant maybe in a way. I don't know. And he said that his first day on the job, he had to freeze somebody's warts off of his genitals. Could you imagine? Like, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into. Like, at this point out of the story, he's like 20, 21. I mean, I don't think he's ever really been a medical technician before. I think it was his first rodeo, you know what I'm saying? And somebody pulls down their pants and presents you with a dick that has warts on it. And you gotta hold it and freeze them off, I think is what they did. I think that's pretty much how they do it. Medication and freezing them off. No way. There's just no way. And for that, I respect people in the medical field. Except the doctor who was being a dick when I broke my collarbone. I went to the, broke my collarbone playing football. And the doctor was like, all right, we can do surgery or we can let it heal naturally. Either way, you're going to be fine. And I was nervous. And I was like, what's the better option? And the point of what he was saying was that there is no better option. It just is. The decision just is. It's whatever you want to do. And so I'm like, okay, but is one better than the other? And he's like, like an audible, If I knew then what I know now, I would have just been like, fuck you. Like, at the time, I didn't feel like a kid, but I was one. I was like 16 or something like that. This is right around the time. Vitamin D, also, your bones are brittle. So, like, for him to do that to a patient is like the ultimate, like, fuck you. And now that's got me thinking of how many people don't belong in certain jobs. There's so many people doing jobs that they just don't belong in. I mean, shit. Might be me. So, I remember there was this teacher, Mr. Borowiak, pretty sure. Mr. Borowiak, my Algebra 2 teacher. I remember being in class, sitting there, and I'm like, hey, Mr. Borowiak, like, I don't understand what you just said. You know, raise my hand respectfully. Mr. Borowiak, I don't understand. This motherfucker said, it's in your book. No, it's in the book? No shit. No shit. So you expect this classroom of juniors taking Algebra 2 to teach themselves? I mean, wow. Talk about not giving a fuck. Talk about not giving a flying fuck, actually. Hey, this kid doesn't understand what he's asking for help, and you just say it's in the book. I know that. But if you're putting so much responsibility on the book, why are you here? I remember, like, he used to talk about how he was an engineer at the steel mill. Clearly it didn't work out because you were teaching Algebra 2 in one of the worst school districts in Indiana. So, I mean, and I had a lot of teachers like that. A lot. Some good ones, but mostly it's just like they're just there to fucking teach these assholes. And you got to be careful with that, becoming a teacher. If you don't really want to do it, don't do it. Because you're fucking people up. And honestly, we're going to call it. That's it. So, to wrap it up, it's going to say across the top, box of chocolates, one of the corners, episode 1. I really like singing in the intro. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm satisfied. 45 minutes has passed. 45 minutes is long enough. There's other stuff that I want to talk about, but I mean, at some point, I need to do shit in the real world. So, box of chocolates, episode 1. There is no formal outro just yet. That's it. Peace.